We are so small compared to the big, vastness, large outer space of the universe. Compared to the vastness of the universe, my problems are tiny. There will be no trouble at all. I made a mistakes at work. I was allowed to go home today, but tomorrow I have to deal with the mistakes, apologize to those who caused me troubles, and many other things await me. It is as if a fortune teller who is always right has predicted, you will have a tough day tomorrow, and all I can do is sigh. As I got off the train and stumbled along the night road toward the phone, I came up the bank. Usually I passed by this place without thinking, but now I was in the mood to try something I don't usually do. In other words, I wanted to do something reckless and escape it from reality. So I decided to ride on my back in the bank. My suit will be covered with grass, but I don't care. I even thought about going to work tomorrow in a suit covered in grass. I looked at the night sky. It was a star-filled night. It was a night when the stars were reasonably visible. It was a clear day, and the air must have been clean. Needless to say, those shining stars were so far away that even if I could fly at the speed of the light, I could never reach them in my lifetime. I am reminded of how big the universe is, but at the same time, I also think this. What does it matter that the universe is big or not? Sometimes I see scenes like this in TV drama. It's like this. Compared to the vastness of the universe, your problems are nothings. The scene is like this. The person in distress feels relieved by the encouragement. It may sound fine, but if people could be refreshed by such a scene, no one would have any trouble at all, right? No matter how big the universe is, I will still be angry tomorrow, and no matter how tiny I am compared to the universe, I will still be apologized tomorrow. For example, let's say there is a kid who is being bullied. Suppose that he is bullied with someone who holds a lit match close to his face. You say to him, that's a lot better than being thrown into the sun, isn't it? What kind of encouragement would that be? It would certainly be better, but it would not make the bullying so go away. Nor would it make him feel better about lighting the match. For him, I am being bullied is all that matters. And no matter how big the universe is or how hot the sun is, it doesn't add up to anything. If my problems were solved by the theory that my problems are tiny compared to the size of the universe, no one would have any trouble at all. I continued to stare blankly at the night sky while thinking this. I wondered how long I had been gazing at it. Suddenly, I heard a voice. It sounded like a female's voice. It was a strange voice. Sounds both like a man's and a woman's. I wondered if someone was nearby. Thinking someone's nearby, I raised my voice. Who is it? My own voices came out loudly, partly because I was surprised, then came the reply. Ah, you can hear me? This is a universal. I looked around, but no one was there. Then, who the hell is this guy? I yelled again in fear. Who the hell is this? Who the hell are you? Who am I? I am the universe. I was crestfallen. Space? Did she just call herself the universe? Did you just call yourself the universe? Yes, universe. This universe we are living on right now? That's right. No, what do you mean the universe? Is it in auditories, hallucinations? But even so, it sounds very clear. It feels real. I've been so depressed over a mistake at work that I lost my mind. It seems you are on the same wavelength as me. That's why we can talk like this. No, what's a wavelength? A wavelength is a wavelength. You thought about the universe, so we must be on the same wavelength. If we are on the same wavelength, people feel sorry the universe would hear each other's voice all the time. There are many other conditions. Anyway, it is very rare. Consider yourself as lucky. It was more bad luck than good luck, but I decided to accept it anyway. I'm going to enjoy this conversation. Let's have a nice talk. Okay, I agreed. It might distract them a little. I was a space enthusiast in elementary school. I loved the picture books my parents bought for me and learning things like how Jupiter has spots and how there are rings other than the Saturns. I felt like I was getting smarter and smarter. I even had dreams of becoming an astronaut. Well, I am now at the office workers that have nothing to do with space. So I'm like, can I ask you a question? I'll answer anything. I'll answer anything you want. I wonder if the people at JAXA and NASA would cry and envy me if they heard that the universe could answer their questions. I suddenly decided to get to the heart of the matter. What is the end of the universe like that? It is a question that might be called an eternal theme of humanity. It is even philosophical. I can get to the answer to such a question faster than anyone. Well, the answer is there is nothing to see here. Yeah, there's a sign. Welcome to the edge of the universe. What about? I'm stunned. There's a sign? Yeah, I thought it would be nice to have the landmark. I felt it there. What is at the end of the universe? There is a sign. That's all? These are the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. This isn't a tourist attraction? I can feel the romance in me rapidly disintegrating. I'd probably put up some other decoration anyway, but you don't have to. You don't have to. I played it. Don't damage the romance of humanity any further. Well, then I guess I'll stop. I'll stop. I was relieved from the bottom of my heart. Anything else? The universe asked me, there aliens? Oh, I mean, other than answering is of course. This is another question that is an eternal theme for mankind. Some say there are many, others say there are none at all. Which is it? Personally, I would be happier if there were. Of course there are. Of course there are. I was happy. I was pleased to hear that the aliens and science fiction stories might not just be imaginary. I mean, maybe there are aliens in your neighborhood. I was horrified. It is a common setting on science fiction stories that aliens are already on Earth and mixed in, but are they really around us? I was too scared to ask any more questions. I also asked the following question. Why is there no air in space? It's a little less mysterious than the end of the universe or aliens, but it's something I wanted to ask. Maybe it's because I don't read the air. I don't know how to read the room. Can't read between the lines. I could only say is, you're right. I can't read the situations. I wanted to say, for God's sakes, be more like the universe. If I keep anything questioned like this, I'm going to learn things I don't need to know. At this point, I suddenly remembered the first voice I heard. I think I heard her say something like, "Oh my God, what am I going to do?" I immediately asked her, "That space warnings? You said earlier, oh my God, what am I going to do?" Huh? Oh, I think I heard her say that. Do you by any chance have problems, universe? Of course I do. Does the universe have problems too? I was eager to ask. Maybe it could give me some hints about what I'm going through right now. For example, I'm being bloating a lot lately, so I needed to lose weight. I was suddenly disappointed. What bloatings? Lose weight? Go on a diet? Haven't you ever heard something like the universe is expanding? I'm having a hard times keeping up with expansion lately. Is that what the expansion of the universe is like? It is on the same level where someone says, "Oh my God, I've been eating too much cake lately and I'm getting fat." And then there are too many black holes. Is there such a thing as too many black holes? That's like a mole on human beings, you know. Is a black hole a mole? A being like a god of destruction and a universe that has tremendous gravity and absorbs light as a mole. The universe is dark and black to begin with, and a black hole is not that noticeable. I tended to say things like, "Oh, really? That's good. I'm relieved." I was reassured. Now, let's talk about your hobbies. I wonder what kind of hobby the universe has. I listened. Watching the spiral of the galaxy for a long time, or trying to change the orbit of the comet on a snap. As one would expect it from space, there are large-scale hobbies, but it's all a bit dull. Recently, I've been onto Supernova expansion. It's beautiful when you get it right. Please don't explode the stars with such a flippant attitude like setting off firecrackers. I can't tell if it's high levels or low levels. I'm at a loss for the actions. And then the universe. Looks like it's time to go. Well, then humans of Earth on the right wavelength. It's time to say goodbye. I say, I'm now in the same mood as I would be if I were dealing with a business associated or a client, even though I'm dealing with the universe. If we are lucky, we may be on the same wavelength again in another 100 million years or so, but the scale is huge. I wouldn't be around in 100 million years, of course, and I don't know what will happen in the human race. I had one thing I wanted to say to universe though. Miss Universe, what is it? Earlier you said you were into making supernovae explode, but if you were worried about black hole, you shouldn't do that. You'll end up causing a black hole. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Thanks for telling me. The universe thanked me. The advice was limited to, you shouldn't crash a pimple because it will leave a mark. So, farewell. After this, I heard no more voices from the universe. At the same time, I awakened from my slumber. I must have dozed off while lying. I shook my head from side to side to clear my head. Was it all a dream? But there is a strange sense of reality. I can't believe it was all the dreams. I still feel strongly that I have really had a conversation with the universe. Of course, if I told this story to someone, no one would believe in me. If anyone would believe in me, it would be a dangerous person. Until a short while ago, I felt that my problems would never be solved by the theory that my problems are tiny compared to the size of the universe. It's the same now. I may have had a real conversation with the universe, but that doesn't mean I won't have to go to work tomorrow, and I'm sure I'll be forced to deal with my mistakes. Even my boss will yell at me. Phew, I got. But I felt my head was somehow becoming relieved. I felt relieved, satisfied, rolled up my sleeves. Even the universe has troubles. Thinkings that made me feel a little better. I had solved one of the universe problems. Thinking that way, I felt that I could handle my own problems. Maybe it was an illusion, but it didn't solve anything. But it made me feel like tomorrow is going to be a tough day, but I'm going to do my best. I got up from the banks, brushed the grass, and ripped off my suit, and headed straight home. My problems are tiny compared to this microcosm. I'm like a piece of trash. Have you ever thought that? I have fooled myself like that many times. However, I believe that the fact that my problems are tiny compared to the universe is not wrong. But the stance and the thinking that my problems are tiny is wrong. I used to think compared to the universe, I am tiny. I used to think compared to the universe, I am tiny. First of all, think about the size of the universe, the Earth, where we live, and the solar system, which is much larger than the Earth. However, the solar system is like a dot in a galaxy, and there are about it like ours and the galaxy. And in their universe, there are about galaxy that contains about solar systems. In other words, there are about solar systems like things and the universe. How big in the universe? And there are about 7 billion human beings on the Earth, which is a very localized part of the universe. How tiny my existence is, and how tiny are my problems. I used to think that my problems were dust level issues, but why do my problems affect me so much? Perhaps the answer is that I myself am small. My worries are small, but the person tormented by them is also small. Physically speaking, the effect of small things on a small thing is not small at all. When you are a child, you measured everything with a scale that your parents gave you. When you enter the school, your teacher gives you. You received a new from a scale from your teacher. You could measure not only length, but also angles and weight. But then I suddenly realized some things. I realized that my scale was different from my friends. The first time I stayed over at a friend's house, the taste of a curry was different. The dinner at my friend's house, how strange I tasted. Perhaps it was at the time that I had a premonitions of the vastness of the world. I felt the world was so much bigger than I thought it was. Soon you fell in love with people. Thought you try to measure, but no measure that you had before. But I couldn't use any of the scales I had. I couldn't use it. I read books and sang songs. I wanted to travel towards the distant longings. I sat still and thought about it. I couldn't help myself and started longings. No matter where I looked, there was no answer. You began to create your own yardstick. You made it and broke it, and made it and broke it, in search of beauty, perfections, and freedom. And now that I am an adult who can live freely, what kind of measure do I have? What measure do I have now that I can live freely? Have my own standard? Having my own measures, the world of my mind forever and ever. I have been measuring various things with my own yardsticks for a long time. I have learned, encountered, experienced, traveled, and used a wide variety of things as fertilizers to create my own scale. I have been measuring myself by using my own scales, which changes each time I go to, because it is a very lucid scale. Lucid scale, so I sometimes make mistakes, cheat. Sometimes I don't measure something because I don't have enough length. Sometimes I would go crazy and say I cannot measure that because it's not long enough. I liked myself as like that. But after facing the biggest crisis And all this of my life is actually I realized that there is a scale of God, not myself. It is just a scale of the God of the whole universe as a measuring and controlling the universe. Life can live and exist because God is measuring the movement of the universe on a great scale. That's a bit of the explanations. Even if I receive calls for 3 tablespoons, if I feel it is too much, I will cut back. And if I feel it is not enough, I will add more. The same thing can be said about a large organizations or a person you respect. Sometimes it is difficult, but I think it will be fun to talk to people in a new way when I am different from them. Now, let's see. This is also one of the scales. What is it that you valued? Here are some of the keywords: excitement of the daily life, living with sincerity, empties. What I want to cherish, it is myself. I tend to put things off and get frustrated. I want to take care of myself first so that this doesn't happen again. What I want to take care of now is the voice of my bodies and my honest feelings.
I don't think so. No, 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 no. I don't think so. No, 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 no. It's never, ever, 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 ever gonna happen. I don't think so. No, no, no,